This is going to be my review of Static Season 1 by Vita Ayala. This was another book sent to me by Chris. Chris, thank you once again. And, So, Static Season 1, let's jump into it. Static Season 1 was basically like one of the major flagship titles for the return of the Milestone comics. Like, after ages of waiting for anything to do with with hardware or Static or anything to do with the Milestone universe, DC finally announced and said, yeah, we're bringing it back. They're not going to be part of the DC universe for now. I'm going to say for now, because at some point that we're going to get another. And they did kind of do a Static Batman Beyond team up in the Milestone one shot they did not too far back. So it's only a matter of time before we get another DC Milestone universe merge. So the Dakotaverse is back, and I think this was the first one to talk about that. So let's talk a bit about Static Season 1. Now, it's a complete, total reboot of the comics. The 90s era is gone. This is a total hard reboot, and this comic is the new era of Static, and we talk about how Bang Babies are created. We also find out that there's a much different universe, and it focuses on a lot of problems dealing with African American population, especially the youth of the African American population in America. So, in fact, actually, the creation of the Bang Babies in here, that's what they're called, the metahumans of this universe, like Static. They're created from police brutality. Basically, what happens, this is going to be very fucked up, so stay with me. What happens is Virgil and several others of his school are all at a Black Lives Matter protest, and it's peaceful, and then suddenly the cops show up, not caring that they're carrying experimental gas, and they're like, this is going to be, and the cops are like, this is going to be fun, so they end up shooting this experimental gas into the crowd, and that messes with everyone's DNA and just fucks with everyone's DNA, and that's how we get the Bang Babies in here. And among them is Static. We also get they have the one shot that kind of premieres everything. We also see how it ties into hardware, also mentioning Icon and Rocket. We don't get the Blood Pack in here. I think they came in later, but yeah. So let's talk about Static's directly. Very good book. This was a book I was very excited about when they said that they were bringing back the Milestone universe. But Vita Ayala, clearly this person was a big fan of the cartoon, because holy shit. There is a lot of references and a lot of points to the original cartoon. Now, Virgil does have both of his parents. They're not dead, and I hope they're not, because I just started I don't know how far into the books there are, but we do have the nuclear family here, and we have a lot of references. Even the designs of a lot of the characters are based off of the 90s cartoon, which makes sense. I mean, they just they did a team-up involving Anansi, and Anansi was a original character from the TV show. So, and they pull a lot. Vita Ayala pulls a lot from the original cartoon, and I'm not saying that's bad. I am in no way saying that's a knock. I love that. I do know that they've brought in Rubber Band Man as well as Ebon. Ebon is coming, or is already out. There's a miniseries of that dealing with Ebon from the cartoon. We get Hot Streak in here. We get the other characters from the cartoon that were exclusively to the cartoon in here, and they show up as those designs. I really like that. And again, I know people are going to say, "Oh, they're just pulling from the '90s cartoon, from the '90s 2000s cartoon." Yeah, because it was really fucking good. Let's be real quick. Let's be real. I know that Static had a lot of pull in the Milestone books, but here's the thing: Static Shock got really popular when the cartoon came out, And there's no problem with that. You can pull from, there is I see no problem with pulling a lot from something that was really good. Static didn't, at the beginning of the comics, Static didn't really have a lot in the Milestone universe. Really, a lot of the really good shit went to like Hardware and Icon and Bloodpack. A lot of that went to those. Static was kind of left in the back burner, and he was more like meant to be like the Spider-Man of this universe. You can clearly see that Static, at least the original Milestone line, that Static had a lot of inspiration for one of the... And I do believe I heard somewhere that Bendis did take a little bit for the electrical powers from Miles from Static. So, yeah. But this Static is really cool. We do get to see we get to see something that I wish we got more of in Spider-Man books. He's actually a chemist and knows how to use his abilities and mix that with his degrees in chemistry. We get to see how smart Virgil is. We get to see how street smart Virgil is. We get to see that, above all else, he is trying to make a difference in a world that is like, if you're black and now you have powers, you're dead. And now he is trying to make this a world that is safe for his people, and both African American and metahuman alike. And he's kind of like playing that wall, like he's playing that bridge between those two worlds now. And it's a very well done book. I especially love the artwork from who did the artwork? I am sorry. Nicholas Draper Ivy. Oh god, I am not going to be able to pronounce these names. The artwork in here, and yes, they do make clear references to anime in here, and they even say like Virgil's dad in this continuity was a fan of like 80s 90s anime, and he does say like you're going to train, you're going to know how to use a fighting style, and yeah, that kind of tracks in this day and age. Like, of course, parents who watched anime in the 90s would probably want their kid to check that out, too. But just look how vibrant the artwork is. The artwork is just absolutely bright. It's vibrant. The electricity is amazing. I actually really love this costume. I really love Static's updated costume. It's a great nod to both the original Milestone cartoon and the Milestone comic from the 90s. And it's a great mixture of the cartoon as well. It's an excellent fusion of the two worlds brought together. All in all, if you want to start reading the Milestone books of DC, if you want to check out the Milestone universe, check out Static first and foremost. Static Season 1, I highly recommend it. If you were a fan of the original Milestone comics from Dwayne McDuffie, I feel like this is a great love letter to him. Or if you're just a fan of the cartoon, or both, I recommend this. I highly recommend you read Static. Pick this book up, man. I highly recommend it. I said that like 4 times, but I mean it. So, other than that, once again, I'd like to thank my good friend Chris for sending me this book. Chris, thank you so much again for this book. Other than that, hope you all enjoyed this. I'm Mr. Multiverse. I'll see you next time in the Multiverse.